You're listening to REIA Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out REIARadio.com.
When we hired VAs and when we started hiring VAs, when we first started, the things that I was looking for was like, okay, their ability, what's their resume look like? But after we've been doing this a while, I've recognized that their soft skills are just as important. So their ability to be good people and be part of a team is just as important as their current ability. One of the biggest things that's going to allow a virtual assistant to be successful is the amount of time that they're with you, right? So the one thing that people think about virtual assistants, I mean, they're just like an employee that sits at your desk. So the more time that you invest in them and the more that you allow them to grow, their ceiling is going to continue to raise and raise. Really, VAs they do four things. They help you make money, they help you save money, they help you scale, and they help you spend more time with your family.
Today's episode is brought to you by JM Real Estate Capital.
Hi, it's Rob, JM Real Estate Capital. We're the money guys that you need to know for all your real estate investments. Talk to us. We can do what your local bank can't or won't do. We don't have millions, we have trillions with a T to lend. 844-WE-CLOSE or go online, jmrecapital.com. That's jmrecapital.com. JM Real Estate Capital, smart solutions for the real estate investor.
Welcome to REIA Radio, episode 133 with Timber Creek Virtual.
Brad Bader, JB Houlden.
Hey, so Owen Dashner, we had this awesome live REIA event with Timber Creek Virtual. And one thing that I thought was super cool about it was during this event, JB Houlden brought in every one of his virtual assistants that was a manager, including my virtual assistant that I use, John.
Okay, so full disclosure here, I didn't show up to that event because summers are a complete...
You were golfing on your league.
Yeah, golfing on my league. I was golfing on my league like I do every Tuesday. I golf on my league.
We always know you're not going to be at one of our summer events.
Yeah, and right. So yeah, summer I'm busy. Like summertime Tuesday nights don't work well for me, so it sucks, but I can't do both.
But one thing that was really cool about this event is that we actually had Brad Bader there, even though he was on vacation on a ship. And one thing that we talked about when we were doing this event was how neat it is that you can do business from anywhere you are in the world, even if you're sitting on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean.
Well, I can't really think of a better showcase for the ability to hire virtual assistants than to have all of them on screen at one time in like in a geography that's halfway across the world, and also to have the business owner being on a cruise ship. I mean, that just validates every claim that they have about being able to, offload a lot of your administrative and strategic work to a virtual assistant.
Well,
I mean, it proved everything that they were claiming.
That was our exact conversation we had. Because I remember when we were setting this up to come speak, JB's like, hey, Brad's not going to be available. He's going to be on the trip. But Brad's like, hey, I'm willing to jump on from the ship. And I'm like, dude, this validates everything that we're talking about right now. So you tell me, what was it? Did it go off pretty smoothly? What you're going to get in here is you're going to get great content. You're going to get every one of his VAs are going to speak, and most of his VAs are from the Philippines. So one thing that's cool is that every one of these VAs speak amazing English. It's definitely something that's taught in the schools as a second language. And I know that my personal VA that will speak in this speaks, great English, John. So if you ever call the Omaha REIA office, John's going to be one to answer the phone, and you would never think that he's in the Philippines. But one thing that I love about this is that you're going to learn a way to get your time back and with using virtual assistants. And it could be everything. And just in my company, I use a VA for my marketing. I use a VA for my sales side, my customer management systems, my all of our video shorts for the REIA. He listens and approves the podcast before it gets publicized. He does my newsletter. I mean, I just literally name about 10 or 15 more things. John, shout out to you. Appreciate you very much. And if it's something that you're on the fence about, definitely listen to the Brad Bader episode we did probably about 6 or 7 episodes ago and listen to this episode, because you're going to get a lot of great content here.
I love it. Yeah, and I've used VAs also from Timber Creek Virtual, and they've helped me a lot with getting like some broken pieces to my business put together. They're very affordable, like way cheaper than you would find in the U.S., and every bit as competent, if not more. So I think they do a great job in investing human capital into your business that you couldn't otherwise afford to. Just if you were operating your, as a single member LLC, or maybe you have a couple employees, but they're very affordable, very business process savvy, and they're just great. And you probably don't know what you need if you're like a lot of entrepreneurs where you're wearing multiple hats. So, do a discovery call and find out like what all they can help you with. It could be bookkeeping, could be business process, could be website stuff. Could be social media, could be answering phones, property management, whatever. You just don't know. So I think it's well worth anybody's time to like explore this. I'm sure you've heard things about it, especially if you're listening to a real estate related podcast. A lot of people have mentioned VAs, but take the time, take 15, 30 minutes and do a discovery call with these guys, because I think they're going to make your lives a lot better.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's get into today's podcast with JB Houlden. This episode is brought to you by Timber Creek Virtual. Timber Creek Virtual offers a dynamic range of services designed to elevate your business. From cutting-edge digital marketing and seamless acquisitions management to efficient lead generation, they streamline the operations to maximize the productivity. With expert transaction coordinating, proactive cold calling, direct mail, and efficient texting services, your business runs smoothly. Their dedicated virtual and executive assistants handle everyday tasks, allowing you to focus on bigger goals. Plus, their professional bookkeeping and insightful data analysis provide clarity on performance. Explore timbercreekvirtual.com/services to discover how they can help your business soar.
So tonight, so first off, thank you guys for joining us in this warm room here at the Omaha REIA Studios. And we're not here to just talk about properties, we're about possibilities. And tonight we have a special treat for everyone in the room. Now, I hope you're ready to be impressed, because our speaker tonight is like the dynamic duo of real estate, minus the capes, of course, which, you still look pretty sexy in the cape, I think, there, JB. Or Brad. Where's Brad there? We'll give away Brad. Can Brad hear us? There he is, yep. Brad's on a cruise ship right now, so just so you know, that makes this funner. So first up, joining us online, we have Brad Bader. Brad is the CEO and founder of Timber Creek Companies and Brad Bader Development Group. With over 2 decades of experience in construction and real estate. I personally known Brad for 9 years, and I actually met him right here in this group way before I took this over. He's got a wealth of experience and has completed more projects than most of us can count. When he's not busy transforming properties, he's perfecting his golf swing, playing sports with his kids, or sneaking away on family getaways like he is right now. So let's give a virtual round of applause for Brad Bader. And now the man of the hour with us over here on the right is JB Houlden. JB has a diverse background in military operations, recruitment, and real estate. He's the owner of Timber Creek Virtual and the Chief Operating Officer for Timber Creek Home Solutions. I've been working hand in hand with JB for over a year now, also with coordinating my own personal virtual assistant team. And his team supports the back end of this very group, Omaha REIA. So if you've done anything with memberships or had anybody call you that wasn't me or my wife Jessica, that'd be John. So John, can you give us a wave and say hi to everybody? So that's John, that's our assistant there. So if you guys had a call from John, that's the face that's behind the admin@REIANebraska.com email. So if you asked him his favorite band, I think he would say Korn. And then I think we turned him on to a little Tool. But his group also helps us with the edit side of the podcast. So his group, since the transition, does all the editing and video editing of our podcast now, and creating video shorts for us. So I'm not just telling you about something that I think you should use. This is stuff I use. He also is a decorated bronze sponsor, bronze star medal, which I'll let you talk about what that means, because there's lots of meanings of that. So I just say he's a hero. And trust me, you'll find that he's won the medal and hearing his insights tonight. Please join him and give him warm applause for JB Houlden. And together, Brad and JB are going to share their wisdom on how virtual technology can turbocharge your real estate investments. So get ready to enjoy the presentation, interactive session, and maybe even get a few bad jokes from yours truly.
How's everybody doing tonight? A little warm in here, but so again, my name is JB Houlden. I've been partners with Brad on and off on different things for about the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of you guys don't know, I've known Brad since 6th grade in high school. So Brad and I were at the same school, Elwood, Nebraska, graduating class of 16. I'm the class president, by the way. Brad was not. No, kidding. But we've known each other for a long time. I did 22 years in the military, was getting ready to retire, and I needed something to do. And it was right around COVID was coming on, and so I had accumulated about 100 days of leave. If anybody's been in the military, that's not normal. But since COVID, they changed things up, so I banked all the leave I could. And as I'm transitioning, I'm talking to my high school friend Brad, and I'm like, hey, why don't we do something together? And so, here we are, 4 years later. But to talk about virtual assistants and what they do, we started off with virtual assistants for direct seller, right? Everybody's heard of wholesaling or whatever. So we started off doing that, and we were cold callers, texters, that sort of thing. And then as they progressed and they were part of our team for longer and longer, they really had a lot of ability to do bigger and better things, right? And so we started giving them additional tasks to do multiple things. And so as we've come on, we've really built out our VAs, and they do a lot of different things. And so what I'd like to do tonight is explain to you a lot of the things that our VAs do for us. So maybe that will give you some ideas of some things that you could also do to scale your business. Because really VAs do 4 things. They help you make money, they help you save money, they help you scale, and they help you spend more time with your family. So anyways, moving on. When COVID happened, there was a lot of people that started working from home, and I think originally VAs were kind of something that people really weren't interested in, but after people started working from home, they recognized how easy it was to have employees that aren't sitting at a desk beside you. For the future of real estate, enhancing your efficiencies is key with your businesses, right? So when we started using the VAs, we were able to utilize them to do a lot of the things that we didn't normally want to do ourselves, or we didn't have the time to do it. And once we started doing that, it allowed myself and Brad to spend a lot more time doing things that was going to help move the scale with us. These are resources that we use for ourselves, for our own personal businesses. Executive assistants, digital marketing, bookkeeping, property management, cold calling, list sources, transaction coordination, personal management. So this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be interactive. So as I go through each one of these different things that I talked about, I'm going to have the VA that does that explain what they do and how they do that for our business.
So yeah, hello guys, and good evening. I hope you guys are having a great night. So my name is Houlden, and I'm an executive assistant at Timber Creek Virtual, directly reporting to Brad Bader. So my role involves a wide range of tasks designed to streamline operations and to support various aspects of the business. Firstly, I manage task organization through ClickUp. So I create workspaces, update to-do lists, and also manage statuses to ensure that projects progress smoothly. And I also handle schedule management using either Google Calendar and Outlook Calendar, where I coordinate meetings, set reminders, and also schedule appointments efficiently. And not only that, in addition, I also oversee emails across multiple clients and platforms. So these include creating rules and filters to prioritize urgent emails, setting up subfolders, and also labels for better organization and ensuring important emails receive timely follow-ups. So I also specialize in document creation. So it ranges from invoices to estimates for construction projects to preparing legal documents tailored to our client specifications. And in the real estate sector, I would also help Brad onboard tasks for various construction projects, may it be for rentals, quick flips, full rehabs, and even contract works. So my responsibilities extend to managing communication and collaboration among team members, may it be in the management of our Airbnb and storage unit properties, and I keep track of and update insurances and W-9 forms, ensuring compliance and readiness, especially during tax season, which I know is a headache for you guys. And on the digital front, I contribute to website branding, quality auditing, SEO tasks, and managing social media. And I also engage in various content creation tasks, which include designing, supporting through Canva, Photoshop, and Articulate 360. So basically, and in summary, my role is quite diverse and dynamic, aimed at enhancing efficiency, organization, and productivity for Timber Creek Virtual. And these tasks vary per general virtual assistant or executive assistant, depending on our client's needs. Thank you for listening, and back to you, JP.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Colin. All right, so Colin, hey, thanks. So Colin basically works with Brad on a day-to-day basis, and if you guys know Brad, you know, he can be kind of tough to work for sometimes. So I got to give Colin credit because he's able to.
Colin's got a shit.
He's able to do all those different things for Brad.
He's got it rough.
Brad, what's one of the best things, or what's a couple of the things that really stick out to you that Colin helps you on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, just the broad strokes in general of having support so that I don't forget shit is by far the biggest thing helping me manage. Things slip through the cracks. That's what happens. The more you have going, the more things can fall through, and it just doesn't happen with Colin around. He's got my back through everything, but yeah, he's got it rough. I do a really poor job of sticking in one lane, and Colin helps me pick up all the pieces in every area. So it's wonderful to have him, and that's the name of the game here. We don't want to come across this being some kind of a virtual assistant advertisement, but at the same time, all you ever hear about in our world is leverage, right? And the most important thing any of us can leverage is time. And this is a way to leverage your time through a very unexpensive method. So when you start hearing, oh, well, if you're making $40 an hour and you can get anybody to do a task for less than that, you should offload those tasks, right? We all hear things like that. And it's just so amazing how much you can leverage time and gain through using virtual assistants. And these members of our team are all wonderful. And that's why we're here. We just want to show you and hopefully open your eyes to the possibilities of what can happen through leveraging time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Brad. So Era's on here. She'll talk a little bit later, but Era's been with me for 4 years. So how many of you in here have utilized a virtual assistant in some capacity before? I'm sure there's a handful of you. So I don't know, probably 20% or so. One of the biggest things that's going to allow a virtual assistant to be successful is the amount of time that they're with you, right? So the one thing that people think about virtual assistants, I mean, they're just like an employee that sits at your desk. So the more time that you invest in them and the more that you allow them to grow, their ceiling is going to continue to raise and raise. And I would say that's one of the biggest things that's helped us is that we have taken the time to invest into our team to let them grow. But moving on to our next topic, we're going to talk about digital marketing. I think a lot of you in here that are real estate agents or wholesalers or whatever recognize the importance of having a digital presence and having a virtual assistant to be able to do that for you, especially being cognizant of how much it costs. I think it's a really good opportunity. Uno, do you want to jump on?
Yes, thank you, JB. Hi guys, I'm Uno, the digital marketing strategist for Timber Creek Virtual. And as we all know, if you're not in the digital marketing space, you don't really exist. You don't want Dave Chappelle going versus Jaru for you, So in simpler terms, we're the architects behind scenes and craft and devise some strategic plans to elevate your online presence and actually to drive results. The digital marketing landscape is so vast, but here are some key performance indicators or KPIs we excel in, and some of the tools we actually use in the job. For For web design and development, we use CMS such as WordPress or Shopify if you're running an e-commerce store. We also track bounce rate reduction using A/B split testing and a number of techniques that is known in the digital marketing landscape. We also promote brand awareness. We track impressions and conversions for your campaigns. Together with social media marketing and management, we use such tools such as Hootsuite, Meta Trends, Social Pilot, and also some content creation tools. We also specialize in search engine optimization. And this is really important because it works with the recent Google algorithm update as of March 2024. We use tools such as Majestic, Moz, Google Page Insights, Right Local, SEMrush, and Ahrefs. We also do pay-per-click ads and management through Google, LinkedIn, and Meta. And we also engage in reputation management, wherein we track the reviews you have on Google, BBB, AngelList, and Glassdoor. We can also do a deep dive of your data audit and the analysis of your digital marketing performance. We use competition analysis, trend analysis, and also performance analysis. Now, we also utilize, this is very new to the digital marketing landscape, but we also try to leverage on AI technologies, but with the human touch. In fact, some of the script that I'm using to discuss with you right now is actually created using ChatGPT and Google Bard. Hopefully, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg doesn't make our job obsolete. But here in Timbercreek Virtual, we really doubt that. So whether you're a startup or an established brand already aiming for digital dominance, digital marketing is a friend and your trusted ally in the digital landscape. The digital marketing space is so big, I can talk to you until the 4th of July. But before I do that, I will introduce Jory, my digital marketing colleague.
Thank you, Master Uno. He's been my mentor. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jory. I am a social media manager, and I'm a member of the creative team at Timbercreek Virtual. So I specialize in crafting and managing social media strategies. This is all to enhance our online presence and engage our audience. My role involves creating content, managing communities, and I also assist in analyzing performance to optimize our approach. Basically, by leveraging social media platforms, I help Timbercreek Virtual increase brand awareness, drive website traffic, and also boost sales and client and business reach. The goal is to foster meaningful connections between the company and its audience. And in addition to managing Timbercreek's social media, I also contribute to the creative team by generating innovative ideas, producing engaging content, and maintaining brand consistency. So I create infographics, presentations. I also direct podcasts for Ted, actually. I am the first viewer of his podcasts. So yeah, all of these to ensure diverse and dynamic content. And I oversee some of the projects from conception to completion. I collaborate with other departments and POCs and interact with clients to align our creative efforts with our marketing strategies. So basically my task, it's like a blend of creativity, technical skills, and project management. And this is all to deliver high quality outputs that meet our company objectives. Thank you.
Thanks. So the digital marketing team that we have, I mean, they do a lot of things. You know, Uno had talked about all the things. They create websites. They can, post stuff on social media. But one of the key things I think that's important about social media, especially when it comes to real estate, is making sure that you are keeping track of your KPIs for something, something as simple as having a property online that's for sale or whatever. Find out how many clicks are on it. For those of you in the digital marketing realm, you can get a lot of information on that to see which houses are moving by your KPIs, the interest level and locations and stuff like that. Moving on to the next, we're going to talk about bookkeeping. We've got Jocelyn that's part of our team. She's a CPA. She's in the Philippines. She works for us full time. Some of the things that she does, QuickBooks management, cash flow, insurance, W-9s, payroll, all that stuff. Like I really can't say enough about how beneficial she is. To pay a CPA here in the United States is fairly expensive. I think we can all agree on that, right? So with the standard of living difference and stuff in the Philippines, we're able to have a full-time CPA on staff for something that we would have to pay $100,000 or whatever, a salary for a CPA. So Jocelyn, I'm going to go ahead and let you talk a little bit about what you do and your capabilities.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Fermano, Certified Public Accountant, and it's my pleasure to walk you through my role as the Finance Business Partner of Timber Creek Solution. I've been as a finance practitioner for more than 15 years, and I would say that our role plays a vital role when it comes to ensuring the financial health and stability of a business or company. My primary responsibility with Timber Creek now is to maintain an accurate financial records through financial data management. As I mentioned, I had an experience in migrating system from manual to an accounting system, and right now we are currently using QuickBooks Online, and it's a smart and simple online accounting software which aid in organizing all our financial transactions. And we also have right now we've developed an in-house system wherein we've integrate the budget templates with the actual financial transactions that helps in making strategic decisions such as evaluating the profitability of real estate assets. That includes meticulously recording all our financial transactions that are related to real estate activities, including property purchases, sales. We also have rental incomes, maintenance expenses, and also mortgage payments. And second, I handle also the financial reporting, ensuring the accuracy and also the transparency in all our financial transactions and adhering to industry regulations. So through this financial reporting, I prepare financial reports such as balance sheets, income statements, and also cash flows. And this helps the accountant in filing the tax in IRS. And this reports also helps in providing our business owners like JB and Brad with a clear picture of the financial position and financial performance of the business. Additionally, I also provide financial analysis and valuable insights to support the business decisions. I create templates with horizontal and vertical analysis that will aid in analyzing the financial data and also optimizing whatever available resources that we have. Furthermore, I work closely with my colleagues who's presenting right now to streamline the financial processes and ensure smooth operation. We value teamwork and collaboration and maintaining efficiency and accuracy in our financial management. I would say that in essence, my role goes beyond just a number crunching. I'm their strategic partner, empowering Brad and JB and all other investors with accurate financial information and enabling them to thrive and make sound business decisions. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
I might jump in here, JB, for just a second.
Go ahead, Brad.
If you don't mind. I think if anybody in the room's like me, I think we're all, smaller business operators, and you work in your business and hopefully on your business all day long, hopefully more on than in, but that's the nature of small business. And then at night, when you get the kids to bed, finally, that's when you actually put some effort into keeping your books up, but keeping track of your finances and getting stuff together. And that's, for me at least, I know it's one of the things that gets pushed down the list because it's the last thing that you end up doing, and it's one of the most critical things. And Jocelyn does just an amazing job of the analytics and her viewpoint of she's more of a, she's not just a number cruncher, she's a financial partner explaining our business from a number standpoint to us. Couldn't be overstated enough. She does an amazing job, and regardless of what you're doing, or how you're doing it for bookkeeping, I wish everybody could have a Joe. I'll just say that. So hopefully you're all keeping track of your numbers and you know where things are. But if you're not, make sure you find a way to do that. It is the lifeblood of companies. You can lose your business without even realizing it if you're not paying attention to the math. So keep a look on things.
Awesome, thanks, Brad. Yeah, I can't say enough on how nice it is to have a CPA in-house that you can just message and text message and call and set up Zoom meetings with them anytime during the day. And I think this is one of those things where I want to say too that I think a lot of times if you hear the word VA, you think, oh, maybe it's going to be a lesser standard than what it would be if somebody's in the United States. Well, that's not the case. You just got to make sure that you find the right people. So just FYI for that. Moving on, we're going to talk about property management. I think a lot of people in here have properties, rentals, Airbnbs, or whatever. We've got a couple different people that manage properties for us. Some of the things that they can do, you can see, manage leases, handle issues with the properties, if the plumbing or something like that. They can facilitate all those things for you. And how many people want to take the call? First off, who has rentals in here of some capacity or whatever, right? A lot of you. How many of you guys want to get the phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning that the toilet is overflowing, right? Ted's the only one that likes that. He must have a renter that he really likes. But the nice thing about having a VA team is that you don't have to have those phone calls, right? And I think everybody in here can attest that you get that phone call, even if it's during the day or the night, it ruins your day or maybe even your week, right? When you have to field those phone calls. And having somebody on your team to handle that, it allows you not to be emotionally drained with one or two bad tenants. They're not going to fly from the Philippines or wherever, but anyways, Val, can you go ahead and jump on?
Yep, thanks JB, and it seems like there's a lot in here that could relate to property management. So let me just introduce myself first. I am Val, and I am a property management assistant. And as a property management assistant, I streamline and optimize the management of our properties to ensure smooth operations and tenant satisfaction. So my day-to-day would look like having a variety of tasks aimed at maximizing the value of property. I handle administrative duties like advertising and marketing properties online. That already includes answering to inquiries and showing requests, then processing rental applications, drafting lease agreements and other documents, and yes, as JB mentioned earlier, coordinating maintenance requests for all properties. So currently we are using different tools and platforms, mainly Zillow and apartments.com for our listings. We are also using RentReady for managing tenancies because we are taking advantage of automated features, especially with charges and fees and maintenance reporting. We are also using HelloSign for sending out leases and other documents that need signatures both from our tenants and landlords. So aside from these efficient tools and platforms, for me, communication is also key. So I liaise between our tenants, landlords, and our maintenance staff to address any issues promptly, especially with maintenance in your houses. So in short, I am the behind-the-scenes multitasker dedicated to keeping everything running smoothly when it comes to property management. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So yeah, you can't. I think the property management is one of those things where everybody can appreciate having somebody else take care of all those phone calls and making sure that all that stuff gets done in a timely manner without you having to be involved. Moving on, the next thing we're going to talk about is cold calling. Who in here has done direct to seller? A lot of people. So this is one of those things where there's a lot more to it than cold calling. If somebody's been doing this a while, you know the deal. There's cold calling, there's text messaging, there's sending emails with all these different things. So, we've done that for quite a while. I'm not going to get into lead managers and acquisitions and all that stuff, but basically you can have a complete virtual assistant team go ahead and take care of all that stuff. I would say the most volume that we've ever done through all of our VAs is 15,000 text messages a week, 3,500 phone calls a day with our teams. And you start talking about doing cold callers, mailers, managing CRMs. Like I think our CRM has 250,000 people in the Omaha, Lincoln metro area. So it's pretty easy to reach out to a lot of people in a short amount of time if you have the correct staff to do it. And if you're going to hire somebody here in the U.S. to do that, brick and mortar people coming to an office, it's going to be extremely expensive. So one of the only ways to really have the ability to scale to that capacity is to use people in the Philippines or whatever, where their hourly rate is just less. So, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and let you jump on, talk about cold calling, making phone calls.
Thank you, JB. Hi guys, hi everyone. My name is Mark, and I work as a cold caller. My job involves reaching out to potential customers who haven't had a prior contact with our company. And my goal is to introduce them to our products or services, gauge their interest, and ultimately generate leads or set up appointments for our sales team. And here's how it works, actually. I got like 7 steps for it. First one is research. Before making calls, I gather information about the prospect to ensure my pitch is relevant to their needs. Number 2 is initial contact. I make the initial call, introducing myself and the company and quickly highlighting the benefits of our offerings. Number 3 is engagement. I engage the prospect in a conversation, asking open-ended questions to understand their needs and challenges. This helps me tailor my pitch and address any concerns they might have. Number 4 is qualifying. I assess whether the prospect is a good fit for our products or services. This involves understanding their budget, their timeline, and decision-making process. Next one is setting up. If the prospect is interested, I schedule a follow-up call or a meeting with a sales representative who can provide more detailed information and close the deal. Next one is follow-up. For those not immediately interested, I follow up periodically to keep the conversation going and stay top of mind. And the last one, I think this is the most important one. It's going the extra mile. I strive to provide exceptional service by promptly addressing any questions or concern, offering additional resources, and ensuring a positive experience, even if it doesn't result in an immediate sale. This helps build trust and especially a strong relationship with the potential customer. So cold calling is about building relationships, being persistent yet respectful, and turning a cold lead into a warm opportunity. Thanks, guys, and have a great evening.
Mark. One of the biggest things to move the needle, I would say, even if you're a realtor and you're managing your CRM, is going to be the follow-ups, right? Follow-ups aren't the most important thing you're going to do today, but they're the most important thing that you're going to do every day, right? You spend all this time developing these new relationships. Once you have them, you need to continuously re-engage them. And this is one of the spots where the VAs really shine, is because as an agent or a direct seller, you don't have time generally to follow up on 100, 1,000 people that you have in your CRM on a daily basis. These guys can call and just check in and see how they're doing, right? And then make some notes in your CRM. Oh, okay, make a note to myself, re-engage them back in 30 days or 45 days. For those of you that have talked to somebody that says that they're going to sell their house, right, and they tell you 6 months, do you call them back in 6 months or do you call them back in 3? You probably call them back in 3, right? So it's nice to be able to have somebody on your staff that can go ahead and make sure that all those follow-ups are actually getting done, because I know that I can say that I've honestly lost deals because I didn't do a follow-up, right? I got in and I made the phone call later on, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, the house is sold. And it was my fault because I didn't follow up, and I lost out on that revenue. So, all right, moving on, we're going to talk about list source. When you start talking about direct to seller, there's a lot of different data that you need to get, right? And there's different places you can get that. We have somebody on our team, and that's what they do. They mine data for us full time. We started off using some different platforms and some different services. Has anybody heard like Audanic? Has anybody ever heard of that by chance? Audanic they'll provide you a list of about 40,000 people annually. It's $25,000 a year to purchase that, to get those leads. But what they do is they take that data and they find out who has the highest propensity to sell a property. And so we paid that money, and it worked great, but we're like, that's a lot of money. Why don't we just hire somebody to do that ourselves? And so we tried to figure out all the data points on where that was. And once we figured that out, we were able to replicate what we were paying somebody else a lot of money to do. And the one thing that I'll tell you, when you are pulling lists, it's about layering data. It's not about just pulling an equity list. It's not about just pulling a zip code. It's about pulling all these different lists and then stacking them on top of each other. Because whichever one of those lists, if they're on the high, they have high equity, right? They're make a certain amount of income. Oh, and they're getting divorced. Oh, and they haven't paid their taxes. The more of those data points, the higher chance that they're going to have to sell, right? And they're probably going to have to sell at a faster point. So we have somebody on staff that will mine all that data for us. Nico, are you there?
Yes, JB.
All right, go ahead and jump on, bud.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Nico, and I'm a data management BA at Timber Creek Virtual. So my role is crucial in ensuring the accuracy and organization of property-related information. So to gather the valuable insights on potential leads, I score public records, online databases, and other sources to get the best data. I'm also skilled in skip tracing, which helps us track down elusive property owners. So once I collect the data, I organize it into customized lists tailored to the team's needs, of course, whether it's targeting distressed properties, absentee owners, or motivated sellers. Our lists provide game-changing insights for our business. So I'm dedicated to efficiency and ensure that our data systems are streamlined and easy to use. This way, we can quickly access the information we need to stay ahead in the competitive real estate industry or market. So to ensure the accuracy of our data, I also run all addresses I collect through our own master list to eliminate duplicates. So this ensures that we're not wasting time and resources on duplicate leads and that we're getting the most out of our skip tracing tools. So as a trusted member, I handle list pulling and skip tracing tasks. And my goal is to help the team succeed by providing accurate and reliable data. So to achieve this, I utilize tools like Batchleads, Direct Skip, Zillow, UPS, of course, to validate addresses and other skip tracing tools, and to ensure the accuracy of our data. Thank you.
Thanks, Nico. I really appreciate it. Another thing I talk about when you're mining data, a lot of times people think, okay, we're mining data just to purchase a house. You can mine data for a lot of things, right? Who in here is looking for a lending institution that's going to give you the best interest rate on a property, right? Yeah, everybody's like, yeah. Well, there's databases and there's ways to go out there and find out who your competitors are, find out how many deals they're doing, and you can see which lending institutions they're using. And then you can call that bank, find out who they had a loan for. You can call that bank and just say, hey, I'm a house flipper, I'm a construction, whatever, and then see if you can get better terms with them, right? So there's a lot of ways to find information that's readily available that's going to allow you to move the needle. And it's not just, one thing, right? One of those little things, 1% interest rate across all of your loans for that year could be, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So anyways, data mining is something that's not just for, cold calling and houses and stuff like that. Moving on, we're going to go into transaction coordination. We have a staff that does transaction coordination for realtors. That works out pretty well. They will facilitate everything with the title company, the lenders, and all those different things. I have a video for our transaction coordinator because she's actually sick and she's not able to participate, but I'm going to let you watch a short video.
Hey everyone, I'm Carmel, a transaction coordinator. Let me give you a quick overview of my daily tasks. First, I manage all the paperwork involved in a real estate transaction. This includes contracts, disclosures, and amendments. I ensure every document is accurate and complete. In order to do this, I also communicate with all parties involved, buyers, sellers, agents, lenders, and title companies to make sure everyone is on the same page and deadlines are met. Scheduling is another key task. I arrange inspections, appraisals, and closing appointments, making sure everything happens smoothly and on time. Throughout the process, I track the progress of the transaction, addressing any issues that arise and keeping everyone informed with regular updates. Finally, I review the documents to ensure accuracy and facilitate the final steps of the transaction, leading to a successful closing day. As a transaction coordinator, my goal is to make the complex process of buying or selling a home as seamless and stress-free as possible for everyone involved. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions or need assistance with your real estate listings and transactions, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help.
The transaction coordination piece for when you talk about transaction coordination with your real estate agents, generally if you're a real estate agent that's doing less than 10 transactions a year, you probably don't need a transaction coordinator, and you're probably doing that yourself to save money. The transaction coordinators really shine with high volume agents, right? If you're an agent that does a lot of deals, it's financially beneficial for you to be working on that next deal rather than to be in the weeds making sure the title company has the right documentation and stuff like that. But yeah, it's something we use for ourselves, transaction coordinator. We're doing direct to seller, but then we've also started doing that for some real estate agents here in the Omaha Metro. So it's been a good thing for us to do so far. Moving on, we're going to talk about personnel management. So for those of you that have hired a VA, and this isn't just for a VA, okay? This is for anybody. How many in here have an employee of some sort? I mean, an employee. I don't care what they do. Okay. So if you have an employee, this is across the board. If you have an employee, the first thing you do when you hire them or when you go to look for them, you need to come up with a scope of work, right? What is that person going to do when you hire them? So that's something that we strive for, is when we bring somebody into our team, we make sure that we have a solid scope of work of what they're going to do every day of the week. Because a lot of times when you hire somebody, you haven't recognized what they do. That first 3 months on the job, they're sitting there half the time waiting for you to tell them to do something because they don't know what to do. And they can only be so proactive without having knowledge. So we create a very in-depth scope of work, and then we create a work schedule with that to make sure that they have something to do for every single hour of every single day throughout every single week. But the other part of that is, how many of you have dealt with turnover in your business, where you hired somebody, they left, and then you had to rehire them, and then you have to recreate the wheel? For the lack of better terms, that's a huge pain in the ass, right? And so one of the things that we do when we create that scope of work and that job schedule, we create an SOP. And has anybody heard of ClickUp? But it's a task management tool. So we create task management. We use ClickUp and have all the tasks that an individual employee needs to do on a daily basis. So if for some reason that person quits, whatever, your business model changes, you need to let them go, all those tasks are right there. So when you go to rehire that person, you don't have to spend all that time retraining somebody else. They can go right in and read or watch the videos on the how-tos on how to do everything that other person did before you. I would say that's one of the things that I would encourage everybody to do here that does have employees of their own. Era, are you here?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead and talk a little bit about personnel management from your perspective. For those of you guys that don't know, Era has been with us, with me for 4 years. She started off being a manager of the cold calling teams that we had at one time, and it comes down to hiring people that have a high ceiling, right? Because everybody in here that's a business owner or an entrepreneur, you're going to recognize that your business is going to change. You may start it off thinking that you're going to make all this money doing this one thing, and then all of a sudden you need to pivot because the market's changed or whatever. So I would say that one of the biggest things that we look for is making sure that we bring people that have a high ceiling. Era has continuously raised her ceiling throughout the time that she's been part of our organization, and she's not just an executive assistant. Like, in all honesty, if I was going to hire, I'm going to be jocking myself into giving her a pay raise after I say this, but I mean, I couldn't find somebody here in the United States and pay them $30 an hour to do what she's doing right now. I couldn't do it. $40 an hour. I mean, she's amazing. So, when you look at what are you looking for, this is what you're looking for, is somebody like Era. Go ahead.
Okay. I hope you're having a great evening, guys. My name is Era, and I'm the team's admin director in HR. And I have a range of responsibilities that are essential for our efficient operation. So firstly, I help manage the intricate web of admin tasks to ensure that our virtual setup operates seamlessly, and that includes managing the schedule, JB's schedule, coordinating virtual meetings, and overseeing ongoing projects within our team. In terms of HR functions, I help conduct thorough interviews to ensure we have highly competent team member And, onboarding new team members may look different virtually, but it remains equally important to us. And our aim is to recruit top-notch virtual assistants by leveraging digital platforms for recruitment processes. And we make sure we source exceptional individuals who also align with our company's values. And another critical aspect is payroll management. And that's also one of the key things that I'm doing as their admin. And that entails accurately processing the VA's pay and ensuring that all of our team members are paid on time. And I'm also responsible in making sure that I keep the employees' records and our clients' confidentiality, whether it's resolving workplace conflicts or implementing policies that promote a healthy work culture. And my goal is to create a supportive environment where everyone will be successful. I also partner with JB and Brad to conduct team performance and business reviews, which are essential for us to identify areas of improvement. We set realistic goals for the team, and one important aspect is to also recognize our wins and achievements. And all of these provide a platform for open communication and collaboration among team members, helping to increase our productivity and efficiency. So by working closely with our VAs across departments, understanding their needs and supporting their initiatives, we ensure smooth operations throughout the team. So yeah, there you have it. I wear many hats, from overseeing admin functions to nurturing a happy workforce, and together we navigate challenges by embracing technology that empowers both productivity and human connection. Back to you, JB.
Thanks. Just out of Era, how many email accounts do you manage? How many emails?
Probably 10 or more. I don't know. I lost count.
Yeah. Being honest, I couldn't do what she does. The only reason we're able to be successful is because of people like her. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Thanks a lot, Era. I appreciate it. All right, moving on. If you are trying to hire a virtual assistant for yourself, there's a couple different things I would suggest that you look at, and that would be character. Make sure you hire the right person, right? When we hired VAs and when we started hiring VAs, when we first started, the things that I was looking for was like, okay, their ability, what's their resume look like? But after we've been doing this a while, I've recognized that their soft skills are just as important. So their ability to be good people and be part of a team is just as important as their current ability. Generally speaking, you can teach people to do things, but you can't make them a good person, right? So things we look for: reliability, adaptability, and commitment. When we go through and we are interviewing people, so we have a recruiter, and she'll be on here in a second. But one of the first things I look for when we look at a resume from somebody is how long they've been employed at their previous places, right? And it would be the same thing if you hire somebody here in the U.S. If I look at somebody's 10-year history of work history, and they haven't worked in any position or any job over 3 years in a row, then I'm not going to hire them. Because statistically speaking, they've already promised me that they're not going to be part of my organization longer than a year or two. And when we bring people into our team, I'm not interested in having somebody be part of our team for 6 months. It's a waste of time and assets. So when you guys are looking for even people here in the United States or for VAs, I would encourage you to take those things into consideration. Skills. So when you look at the skills that a VA will have, obviously you've got a scope of work that you've already decided that they need to be able to do. So clearly they need to be able to demonstrate those skills, and you need to verify that by asking open-ended questions. Once you've verified those skills that they are going to be a good fit for the current position, again, I'm always looking for a higher ceiling. I want to make sure that they have the ability to grow with our business and take on positions of greater responsibility. Work setup. So this is very key when you start talking about virtual assistants. You need to make sure that they have the adequate memory in their computer. You need to make sure that they have a quiet workspace where you're not having background noises and those sort of things. I would say one of the biggest things that helped us move the needle for productivity for our VAs was buying them a second monitor. I buy a monitor and give them a monitor when they come on and they've been with us for like 3 months. And if they quit, I'm not getting that monitor back. But the amount of efficiency that they are able to increase with having that second monitor makes a big difference for their ability to be successful for our business. REIA, are you available? Awesome. Okay, REIA is our full-time recruiter, and she's the one that helps us, find the talent that we have for our organization. Go ahead.
Yes, hi everyone. So my name is REIA, and I'm an executive recruiter or talent acquisition here in Timber Creek Virtual. And we specialize in finding top-tier talent for businesses. And of course, our mission is to connect companies with best candidates who have the right skills, attitude, and dedication. As an executive recruiter, my job is, of course, to identify and attract the most qualified candidates for different businesses. And I do this by creating job ads that highlight the unique aspects of each role in company culture. These ads are then posted across different platforms such as Facebook groups, Indeed, LinkedIn, just to make sure that we have a wide range of potential candidates that we can reach. And of course, once we start receiving applications, I thoroughly review each candidate's resume, cover letter to make sure that we identify promising candidates. I also review video or audio recordings as well as any other materials provided by the candidate, for example, portfolios, if ever we are looking for a digital marketing specialist, to better understand their skills, experiences, and suitability for the role. Next is, of course, I conduct initial interviews to further assess each candidate's suitability for the role. This involves not only evaluating their technical skills and qualifications, but also their attitude, commitment, and fit for the company culture. After the initial interviews, I endorse my top recommendations to the admin team for a comprehensive review and second step of the hiring process. This ensures that only best candidates who align with the business needs and company culture move forward. Our ultimate goal here is to create a perfect match between businesses and their ideal candidates, leading to high-performing teams that drive business success and growth. Thank you and have a great night, everyone.
Thanks a lot. It really is amazing for us to be able to have somebody that goes out and reaches that talent. So for those of you that, again, have had employees or are currently looking for employees, it's exhausting looking for good employees, and it's exhausting keeping them. And so to have somebody on your team to be able to do that, it frees up a lot of time for me to do other things, and honestly to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. So let's talk about some things, what virtual assistants are not. Right, I'm up here telling you to do all these great things. They're not fairies with special dust that just magically can do things. They're not mind readers, and they don't carry their own pot of gold with them. So when you think about the things that they can do, you need to make sure that you have realistic expectations for VAs, like you do any employee. You want to give them a realistic goal to be able to achieve. And without providing those goals, they're not going to be able to be successful, okay? That comes back to that scope of work and that work schedule. If you do those things, you're able to give them the things that are going to allow to move the needle for you. And also, when you talk about reading minds, I see this a lot with, not only with VAs, but just in general with people, for employees. You got to make sure that you over-communicate tasks, right? Like, how often has things not got done because they misinterpreted what you said or you didn't give clear enough direction? So it's even more important with having a virtual assistant that doesn't have a desk next to you to be able to articulate that, right? So I would say when you do have a virtual assistant, make sure that you do articulate the direction of exactly what you want to do. And then last, for what they're not. So it's your vision. It's just like any other employee, they follow your lead. So you need to give them the direction or the vision that you want them to go, and then let them build the road to get there. Having that realistic expectation and telling them exactly where you want to end up. You don't necessarily have to say how to get there, but you need to tell them where the end state is, okay? All right, these are the things, some of the main things that I would tell you that will be beneficial for the VAs, what they're gonna do. They're gonna be cost effective for you, they're gonna save money. You're probably, or I'll just say, you're not gonna be able to hire somebody that is a quality person like a VA for the amount of money that you're gonna need to pay me in the US. That's just the bottom line. It's a great way to scale your business without spending a bunch of money for additional employees. Flexibility, apt, quick changing workloads, projects. That's one of the things with those soft skills you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that can change their job description if need be. You need to have people that are willing to go with the flow. When your business model changes, they need to be able to change with you, right? Specialized skills, like I said, you can have people that are CPAs. Our CPA knows way more about that stuff than I do. I'd like to think that I know a lot, but I've been fortunate enough to hire the right people, and they all are more of a subject matter expert in their individual department than I am. And so now I'm in the position where I can lean on their expertise for success in our business. 24/7 availability. When you have a VA part of your team, when you hire them, their hours that they work is dedicated by what you want. So when you have you're looking for that person, if you want somebody that's going to work night shift, you can have somebody that's going to work night shift that's going to answer those phone calls for Ted's leaky toilet or whatever, right? So it's easier to find somebody that's going to be more apt to be able to do those type of things than it is here in the United States, right? And the time difference makes a difference on that as well. So depending on which way you go around the world, it's 13 hours difference for the time zone in the Philippines. So 13 hours difference. So these guys are basically all working the graveyard shift. Scalability, again, you're not going to be able to grow your business at a cheaper rate than using a virtual assistant to scale your business in the different areas you want to. And it allows you to focus on your core activities, basically the things that you need to focus on to move the needle for your business. At this time, guys, I'm going to open up questions for anything that you guys have, and I don't want to answer the questions. I want you to ask the VAs. They're part of my team, and honestly, at this point, they've been with me long enough. They know more about their specific stuff than I do. I don't want to say that I'm a dummy, but they've been doing it, and they're good at their jobs.
I was just going to kind of talk about my experiences a little bit with the VA side of the business. It's not always smooth getting into it, but it also comes down to what you put into it. So my very first VA I worked with was not through JB. It was another company, and I didn't do a good job putting the initial time into training, and that's where my biggest fault was. And because of that VA failed because I didn't put the time into them. So the more time you put to get them going, the more success you're going to have. So then I signed up with JB a little over a year ago, and we got the first VA going. JB and his team are very hands-on to kind of build the systems. In the end, that first person we had, we had to have a lot of hands-on calling to reach out to you guys and make sure that the membership was being set up correctly. So if you remember, you've heard from John at some point, or he's attempted to call you. But the previous VA decks, we went through that process, and he's like, in the end, he's like, I don't want to call people. That's not part of my job criteria. And I also didn't give that information to JB so he could probably find and vet the right person. We added it. So you got to think about really what that employee needs to do for you, because this is an employee and you are hiring, and you got to put your job criteria out there of exactly what you want. So each failure was on me. Now, since I did do it with JB's crew, and he set up the systems and the ClickUp, as you mentioned, and everything to back in, they do that partly, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they do it so that way if that person quits, gets sick, or anything happens, their crew can step right in, and it's seamless, and you're not missing a day. Correct?
Absolutely.
And so as soon as they found out this VA wasn't the right person for me, they started interviewing other candidates, interviewed over 80 people with our new criteria, got a new person working for us named John, and John's been absolutely amazing. Above and beyond. So, we came on to help out with membership growth, sustainability, getting new sponsors on, but I also was really lacking putting time to it because I had all these different businesses I was trying to run at the same time. And so it was a slow process. He was helpful, but trust started coming in. Now it's been 7-8 months now with John. And he's a fundamental part of this. Like, I don't want to run the back end of everything that has to do with running this company because it's time. It takes a lot of time. And it also took a lot off my wife's plate. 'Cause she's a full-time teacher, so it helped her out with her, her time and her business too. And now, that John's, job has now gone to, besides doing what he does, he does all the graphic designs. He creates all of our slideshows. He's now doing video shorts for me on the side. When the team gets the podcast ready, I don't have the time to listen to the podcast, to vet it, to make sure it's all right. Well, I've done enough of that with John now that he actually listens to my podcasts and says, Ted, this seems like it's kind of like the way you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm giving you my verbal approval that it's good now, and I can trust him that he listened to it. He knows my criteria and how the layout is better than the podcast people that we were hiring initially because he's been listening, working with me for 6-7 months now.
he's like I'm like, hey man, I was sitting there today and I was working with Charlie and we were trying to get some memberships. I'm like, hey, get into Charlie's profile, set up some new passwords. Let's get these perks set up for the Home Depot discount. And within Charlie Dashner, within what, a minute, he responded with all the information so we could get into your account today, right? And so, I mean, that's how effective and quick it is and how it really helps me out. And then we changed his time, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Get off at 4 o'clock today, and then jump in at 6 o'clock. And he went and shared this live stream onto every platform that we're in Omaha. So that's what he's doing for me to help my business, and it's been really streamlined. And I'm going to tell you what, this isn't like a Timber Creek promotion. This is you need a VA in your business to really jump it up if you're not going to hire the people right now. So if you're too scared to have a full-time employee in your business, the VA is a good stepping stone to start to create your systems. So,
yeah, one of the other benefits of VAs that I didn't mention, I think it was up on the slideshow, but I didn't say it, was that, you know, there's no unemployment, there's no any of that stuff, right? You don't have to worry about any of that. So from a logistic, tax, financial standpoint, you don't have any of that red tape that you have to deal with here in the U.S., right? You're not having to worry about having health care for them and all those other things. So that makes this even more financially advantageous. You know, like I said, with all the people that you just seen up here, I mean, they work for us full time. I mean, they're part of our full-time staff. I mean, what would we pay to have that many people work here full time in the U.S.? It'd be hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know. So it's a great way to move the needle. But the other thing too that I think Brad had basically touched on just real short is that we're all trying to find more time for ourselves as entrepreneurs because we all work way too much. And so, you know, to be able to bring somebody onto your team to work full time, to do all those things like Ted says that he doesn't want to do or doesn't have time, now Ted's got time to spend time with his family. You know, and that's not even okay, hey, is this worth moving my business 10x or 5x? You know, I would gladly give up, you know, $10,000, $15,000 a year to be able to spend an additional 20 hours with my family a week, or even 10, right? I mean, as an entrepreneur, we've all been there, and we know how short time is to spend with our kids and our family, and this is a great way to free up some of that time. I couldn't manage 10 emails and, you know, spend time with my kids. So, but anyways, that's all I have, guys.
One thing I'll add to it too is I'm not paying employees, so employee taxes, I'm paying his company, so that they're my marketing advertising group because they're doing my marketing advertising, they're doing my social media. So unless I'm doing it wrong, my tax accountant tells me differently later on how I categorize it. It's an advertising fee because he does all my social media.
Yeah.
So
outside of that, like, I mean, like I said, this isn't a pitch. I mean, you can get your own VA and you can hire them. Era, what's the tax form that you gotta do with the IRS? What is it? The
W-8 band.
W-8 band.
Band.
W-8
Yeah.
band, I think is what it is. But when you have when you're paying somebody overseas or whatever, you know, you file that form with your taxes, and then that way you don't have to, you know, get in trouble with the IRS with all those other things.
That's how we're set up, right? Not all companies are set up that way, but that's how we've chose to set us up. So you're essentially 1099 in Timber Creek.
Yeah,
the way our business is operating.
But I'm saying if somebody else was going to hire their own VA without us, you know, that is the form that I'm pretty sure that you need to fill out with the IRS. But that's all I have. Brad, do you have anything you want to touch base on here?
Yeah, I mean, just quick, guys. I just wanted to say I know a lot of things here sound fairly basic and logical. That's because they are. It's like a lot of things in life, right? Simple doesn't mean easy. So we are kind of repeating some things that you've probably heard a lot of times, but that's because it's needed. And the mundane tasks that you have to do, it's just so wonderful to have a virtual assistant at your side helping you do all those things and assuring things get done on time. We could obviously go on a long time. I know it's hot there. I'm sorry that sucks, that it's miserable on the heat. So yeah, keep the cold beers flowing, and I look forward to seeing all you guys again soon.
Thanks, Brad.
Awesome.
Hey, what questions do you guys have? I can come to you or come up here. I mean, the virtual assistants, I had a ton of questions going into this. For me, it was a learning lesson. What questions do you guys have?
So as a former teacher, how do you train them to make sure they speak your language, speak what you want, speak your mission, vision, values? And then, you do a lot of hands-on, making sure they do what you want. So how do you make sure, thousands of miles away, they do what is best for your business?
That's a great question. And I didn't mention it, and I don't have her on here. We have a team trainer, and that's all they do is they train VAs. Like I said, we already had a lot of VAs, and I didn't want to go over on time. But the process is when we hire a VA, first thing we do is we get the scope of work, either for us or for somebody out there. Scope of work, schedule, when do they need to do these things? We put that in the task management tool, create that, and then at that point, they start working. Now, Ted had mentioned this earlier, one of the key things that you need to spend a lot of time with your VA from the start. If you don't, it's probably not going to be successful for the long term, because you need to give them the guidance and direction they need to be successful. So when we start, I mandate or require a person, a client, to spend an hour a day for 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, an hour a day with the VA every single day. And I'm there with them asking questions, because the one thing I'll say with folks in the Philippines, I lived in Asia for 3 years too, in South Korea, so I kind of understand the culture a little bit better since I lived there. When you're in Asia, yes means yes, and it means maybe. Maybe means maybe, and it means no, and no means no, right? So they have a tendency, there's just culturally, they're a lot more timid, and they're not going to tell you if they think that you're doing something wrong or whatever. They're just going to nod their head, right? So when I'm involved with that teaching process to start off, I'm going to ask questions that are direct, because I want it to start off I want it to work for the long run. So for that first 2 weeks, I'll be involved, but my team trainer is also going to be there. And the team trainer is going to be there to make sure that every task, every job description gets put into ClickUp correctly. So then that way, the way that they need to do things is in there correct. And then there'll be a video. So another thing, if you're an elementary teacher, you probably have to tell kids the same thing over and over, right? My wife would say that that's how I am, right? She has to tell me everything 4 times before I do it. So that's where that task management tool is so important, to create a video and a how-to using Loom or whatever. So that way that VA doesn't have to ask you how to do something. They're going to go in and look at that task management tool, and they're going to watch the video first on how to do it. And then if they can't figure it out from then they need to be able to approach you and ask you questions, right, on how to do it. And then I will have a meeting with the client after 2 or 3 weeks. I'll meet with the client and the VA and the team trainer once or twice a week, and then I will gradually, pull myself out. And this is my system, but our team is there for everybody. So, if a VA is working for one of you in here and the VA doesn't know how to do something, I've got a pretty robust team, and if that VA doesn't know how to do it, I probably got somebody on my team that can do it or point them in the right direction. So then that way, all they got to do, the team trainer can reach out to any one of our department heads on how to do things, and then they can at least give them a blueprint for something the way we did it that worked for us. I'm not saying that that's perfect, but it's a good starting point.
JB, we got another question over here for you.
Yeah.
It's not really a question, it's more of a plug, I guess, for JB and his team. I'm Kim Stevens, and I'm one of the owners of Realty One, and I still do real estate. So I'm super busy, and I am a control freak. Ask my husband. I've been doing this 16 years. I've tried VAs, really didn't love them. I thought I'm going to give JB and his team a try. And I've been working with Carmel for 2 months?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think.
She's fantastic. She is fantastic. I used to be up until midnight doing paperwork. I don't do that anymore. It's given me some of my life back, and she is great. And initially, JB said, sit down and write out everything you do, all of your tasks. He really wanted to know exactly what my business looked like, and then he developed that with Carmel around my business. And it's very hard to make me happy with a VA, and you guys have done a great job.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, it's awesome to hear that, and I'd like to sit here and say that I'm part of that, but you know what? That's Carmel and the team trainer. That's just having good people on our team. It's just about finding good people. So I appreciate that, though.
Joe's got a question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Joe again. I actually had the opportunity to get to possibly work with JB and his team. Luckily, we had an opportunity to hire a virtual assistant through another junk removal provider from a different city that was closing down their business, so that was just too hard to pass up. But JB and his team truly provide an impressive service, so props to you guys. And even more so than when we sat down and talked. I can tell now that your team is truly impressive, and it's not something that's super easy to find. You know, what you kind of touched on, and trying to hire your own. Yeah, so we hired on Romeo, who's our virtual assistant, at the beginning of the year. It's changed my life. It's changed my team members' lives. He handles a lot of our inbound calls for junk removal services, whether it's on our residential or commercial side, and then also works with our team as far as handling the schedule on a daily basis, trying to handle the schedule later in the week, and getting in contact with and taking payment from customers and the different jobs that we're doing. And this kind of leads into a question I have for your team members that are on in the Philippines right now. Something that Romy and I are continuously working on is utilizing AI and ChatGPT to improve our online presence and show up better organically in search results for estate cleanouts, junk removal, whatever it may be. So I asked the team, you know, what are some of your favorite ways to use AI or ChatGPT right now? You know, beyond the, well, I guess what has become, you know, rudimentary as far as ChatGPT and AI has become. It seems like every day I'm finding something new with, like, you know, asking the AI to give me prompts that I can respond to in order to get better results from that. So I guess, to ask your team, what are some of their favorite new things or their favorite things to utilize when it comes to AI and ChatGPT?
Awesome. I'm gonna let Uno jump on here in a second. But one thing I'm gonna say, like, just for ChatGPT, I mean, you know, AI is the upcoming thing. You know, I just read a deal where, you know, Elon Musk is trying to, you know, move over his auto business and put more money into AI because it's up and coming. You know, when we first were getting ready for this presentation, I told everybody, hey, you need to talk about yourself for a minute or two or whatever. So, I mean, they used ChatGPT to create, you know, they had the key bullet items, and then ChatGPT helped them, you know, come up with what they're going to say, you know. Same thing with the PowerPoint presentation. Jory created the PowerPoint presentation. I didn't do anything with it. I gave him some key things that I want him to do, and he put it together for me, right? So, you know, ChatGPT was part of all of that, just to give you a heads up. AI too, this will be kind of for you too. You know, there's software platforms out here that, you know, we talked about cold callers and text messengers and all that. You know, there's AI prompts now too that will do that. You can have a lot of AI prompts. So for you, if you need to do a follow-up, you know, how is our service or whatever, through a text message, there's AI that can do that for you with the right platforms. But I'm going to let Uno jump on because he's way better at that than I am. Uno, go ahead.
Yes, JB, thanks for that question. The AI is not just limited to, like, the question and answer portion, like ChatGPT or Billboard. There's a lot of, like, tools available in the market. Like, one thing we used recently is actually Wizard in the Script, which is a video editing and transcription software that does everything automatically for us. For a small subscription fee per month, you can utilize this AI to create your own content, spin your old content, and actually create the captions for some of the content you wish to push out. Another use for AI is actually creating the screener videos that we use for some of our VAs. We can actually just plug in the task that we need to delegate to the VA, and then the specific steps that the VA need to follow in order to address the task or perform the task successfully will actually be with the aid of the AI. So really, the AI world is so big that new applications comes up, and our team actually tries to be abreast of these new developments in the AI industry that we use that. But please be warned that not because AI is here, you entirely rely on using AI. Of course, you need a certain touch of, like, the human touch. The empathy is not actually initially embedded in AI. So when you're trying to check out the trends, if you're trying to automate your CRMs, your auto follow-ups, and stuff like those, and like, for example, JB mentioned that we're using ClickUp. Even the task automation is actually, it has already AI embedded in it. So it really helps everyone to be successful in their task, whether you're a VA or an owner of a business. But we try to utilize that to our advantage when it comes to all the efforts to increase the volume success in our business.
I don't know that, I don't know that we exactly answered what you're after, but what I would say is just, you've got my phone number. We'll just set up a Zoom meeting with Uno and we'll talk about what you want and I'll help you figure out how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You got 2 more questions.
All right.
Yeah, JB. Great job with the presentation. Great job, guys, on the Zoom. You specified earlier about transaction coordinators, right? And you're saying that with a specific volume, that's when you usually utilize a transaction coordinator. So the transaction coordinator, you recommended over a certain volume as a real estate agent, then you should utilize a transaction coordinator, right? In your opinion?
No, that's the opinion of a lot of personal agents. I mean, it depends on what you want, right? Because I think I mentioned those 4 things. You know, you want to, make money, save money, get more time for your family, those type of things. So you may be a real estate agent that does 10 deals a year, but maybe they're $3 million properties, right? So maybe you want more time with your kids, so you're willing to spend, $300 for that transaction to not have to worry about messing with anything. Maybe it's not about making money, it's just about freeing up your time, right? So I think there's a spot for transaction coordinators for a lot of agents depending on their situation. You know what I mean? But if you're a new agent and you've got all your fees for the MLS and all these other things and maybe you don't have a lot of money, maybe you don't have the money to pay for a transaction coordinator. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to try to save that $300 because you need to buy diapers or something. You know? So but I'd say if you're going to aggressively try to scale as a realtor and have more transactions, the way you do that is by getting out in front of people and getting more transactions, not by spending time on paperwork.
Right. So thanks for that clarification. And then another thing I wanted to ask was more on the pricing side of the services. Is it tiered? Is it fixed? Like how do you all price each virtual assistant or the services that you have?
That's a good question, and I wrote that down to talk about it. But so in general, you can hire a VA, and I'm not going to talk about like me for our business, but you can hire a VA from anywhere from $5 to the sky's the limit, right? When we first started doing this 4 years ago, we were hiring people for like $3-4 an hour. But what we didn't know was that you get what you pay for to some extent, right? And this was before we had our own recruiter and all those things. And so now, generally speaking, we're not going to pay anybody under $5 or $6 an hour generally. That's just the way it is. If you're looking for your own VA, you can go out there and you can try to find them. The thing is, like for us, having a recruiter, having REIA, we have a 4-tier system to get our own personal people or for somebody else. So it starts off, we'll put applications out there. There's different, monster.com and stuff like that in the Philippines and South America or whatever. She'll go through and we can get anywhere from 70 to 100 applicants for one position. But out of those 70 or 100 people that apply, 80% of them aren't even close to meeting the mark, right? So you got to be able to sort through all those different applicants, and you got to have a system and a process to do that effectively. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're looking for the VA, you need to go through that due diligence to make sure that you're getting somebody with the soft skills, the character, the ability to do things. There's different VA agencies out there that they're basically like headhunters, and they'll go find a VA for you, and you can pay X amount of dollars. Before we started doing our own VAs and hiring our own, we paid. I think the most we paid was like $7,000 up front for a VA that was supposed to be an acquisition manager for direct selling. And what we found out was that they didn't know a lot of stuff, and we ended up having to train them. Right. And so then we got extremely frustrated that we put a lot of money up front, and then we needed to train them.
So just to add an additional clarification to what you're saying, right? What does the cost of hiring a VA with your company translate to us?
With us, it's going to depend. So if you're going to hire if you want a CPA, something like that, that's going to be probably $15 to $20 an hour, depending on what you want. For a CPA, that's pretty cheap. If you want, and they're good.
And you're not going to pay health, taxes, and everything else that's surrounded around that.
Yeah, I mean, you would pay my company. We would keep track of the hours, and then we would bill you for that.
Right.
Normally, up front, we charge $1,000 for a recruiting fee, but in that recruiting fee, that means that I'm taking my time. I'm giving you an hour every day for 2 weeks. And my team trainer, my recruiter, all that overhead that I have, that pays for that up front. So that way I can make sure that I can pay my staff. But for us hiring our own people, like I wouldn't want to do it any other way, because you're just not going to get the quality and type of people you need to your business without having that system and process.
Cool. Thank you.
If that makes sense, yeah. Thanks.
Mo has one more thing to say, and then we're going to wrap up after that.
Hey, I just have a statement, please. I wanted to mention that JB and Brad, these are people that are friends and that care about you and your needs. So some of the concerns that I had was security, right?
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
Safety, about passcodes, and they make sure that all that is protected. And they prove that to you, they show that to you. The other thing is that other than email, they're able to go ahead and communicate with your clients via text through the rail system. They spend so much time getting to know all of your needs. This team is so smart, and they're kind and considerate, and they care about you, and it really is a group that you can trust. And if there is an issue, you've got a local guy that cares and understands. JB and Brad have been in the real estate business forever, and investment business, so they understand what you need. And I don't care if it's QuickBooks, marketing, advertising, MLS, it may be constant contact, maybe it's communicating with Al, right, over at Trustworthy Title. I had posted that I needed a water heater picked up, and I just found out that Romeo was one of your guys. I did not know that.
No, he's not.
He was there on Facebook
Romeo
and
is not.
picked it up. He was right there. Is that correct or not? Did I understand that correctly? So I do advocate for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Mo.
Yeah.
To clarify though, Romeo is not mine.
He's
He
not?
hired a
Oh, I
VA from somebody
apologize.
else. But no, it's
But he
fine.
was good.
No, yeah, he is. But and it doesn't matter. It's the thing to know is that VAs are good. If they've been vetted and you've went through the due diligence, I mean, they're a great member of your team. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been working with Mo for, I don't know, 3-4 years at this point. I've been doing. But the thing I'll say too is that, like, if anybody in the audience here has any questions on how to do anything, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out and show you or tell you how to do whatever you want with a VA. I'm not looking for your business or anything like that. I'll just do whatever I can to help you guys out. So other than that, I don't have anything. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate your time. So everybody have a good night.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.